church. I'm coming to you from outside SoFi Stadium in my office in Los Angeles. I miss being with you all in person, but today we get to dive into Psalm 94 together. And I needed this psalm because the psalmist does such a great job of encouraging me and reminding me that we serve a capital God, capital G God, the biggest God. And he is bigger than my stress, than my anxiety, than my worries, than any problem I could have. And you know what? I'm boiling it down to one verse today. I want you to remember this one verse, Psalm 94, verse 19. When my anxiety was great within me, your consolation brought me joy. I've told you this so many times, church. What I do when I am overwhelmed, stressed, surrounded by the enemy, don't understand how I'm going to get through the next couple minutes, hours, let alone days, I simply start saying the name Jesus out loud. I just start saying Jesus. Because what am I doing? I'm reminding my soul. I'm consoling my heart. I'm reminding myself that Jesus is here. He is in me. He is with me. He has never left me nor forsaken me. Sometimes we act like we need to invite God's presence to us. What we're really doing is reminding ourselves that God is here, because he doesn't leave and then meet us at church on Sunday and then check out for a little bit and go to lunch and then come back. Constantly there. The problem is that you and we forget. So we've got to call on his name and remind ourselves that we have his power, that we have his goodness, his faithfulness, that we have his caring hand upon us when we are overwhelmed and when our anxiety is too much. And something that I've been learning is that my anxiety is usually me spiraling out of control, spiraling one lie on top of another lie on top of another lie in my head of just not being good enough, not thinking the truth. And I'm like, okay, but what is all this rooted in? So a huge thing for me is that I fear that I'm not spiritual enough to hear from God. I think that I just don't do it right. I must not pray right. I must not read enough. I'm not spiritual enough to hear God's voice. Well, that is a lie. And so I need to go back to the truth. Well, what is the truth? The truth is that God sees you and he sees me. God hears your prayers and he hears my prayers. God knows your needs and he knows my needs. God is here to provide for you and speak to you. He will speak to me. There is no spiritual ladder that I have to climb to be able to hear the voice of God. That's not how it works. But I'm over here spiraling out of control, and that's when my anxiety starts to build, and I need to root myself and go back to, well, what is the truth? The truth is that I am known and loved and seen by God. And when I remind my heart of all the things that he's brought me through and all the things that were accomplished in him, all of the problems that I'm facing now suddenly seem smaller because we've done this 100 times already. Me and Jesus, if you look at my life, it's a log. It's a testimony of all of these times that God has showed up. God has helped me conquer my enemies. God has helped me overcome problems. God has equipped me when I thought I couldn't do it. God has moved barriers when I thought that I was stuck. The problem is that once I get through my current stress, anxiety, whatever I'm dealing with, I don't take the time to acknowledge how great God is. I don't take the time to acknowledge how sweet and gentle and loving he was in this time that I'm already on to my next set of stress and anxiety and problems. But if I remember and I take time to celebrate God and thank God in what he did, my next problem, my next wave of anxiety is going to be smaller because my heart is going to be in the right place. I will have called upon the Lord and reminded myself we got through it. And there's no need for me to spiral out of control, that I can sit in the truth with Jesus. So again, church, Psalm 94, verse 19. When anxiety was great within me, that's probably you today, or maybe it will be. Your consolation brought me joy. God's presence, God's goodness, he will bring you joy. And he will repeatedly remind you that you are chosen, that you are seen, you are known, and understood by him. See you guys later, church.